All right, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula is another way, another technique of solving quadratic equations, especially if something's not factorable, right? And you can't use the zero product principle or you can't use the square root principle. Here's the thing. The quadratic formula is actually derived from completing the square on the general standard form of the quadratic equation, like we have here. So if all I do is just apply completing the square on this, so the first thing I would do is divide everything by a, right? So if I divide everything by a, I get x squared plus b over ax plus c over a equals 0. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract c over a from both sides. So if I do that, I get negative c over a. So I get this is equal to negative c over a. Okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to complete the square on this side, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of this and square it. So if I take half of this, that gives me b over 2a. So if I then square it, so that's going to give me what? b over 2a, so that gives me b over 2a quantity squared, right? Okay, now if I do this, then I have to add b over 2a quantity squared over here. And so now I've got a perfect square trinomial, and this will factor to x plus what? b over 2a quantity squared is equal to, now in this case here, I'm going to, well, I can simplify it later. So if I do negative, oh here, I'll just do it now. So if I want to simplify this, so this will give me what? This will give me, well, I'll do one more step. So this will give me c over a plus, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this. So this will give me b squared over 4a squared. Okay. And then this, I'm going to simplify it even further. This will give me what? I need an a squared here. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by a to get an a, and I'm going to multiply the top and bottom by 4. So 4a, right? So if I multiply the top and the bottom by 4a, that gives me minus 4a over 4a squared, right? Plus b squared over 4a squared. Okay? Now what I can do is, this is going to give me x plus b over 2a squared is equal to, now I'm going to combine these two fractions, and that's going to give me what? Minus 4ac. In fact, I'm going to switch these around. So I'm just going to put this, I'm going to flip these two terms. So I'm going to write the b squared over 4a squared minus 4ac over 4a squared, right? Now I'm going to use the square root principle and take the square root of both sides. So that means x plus b over 2a will equal plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared, okay? Now, the bottom is a perfect square. So I can take the square root of that, so that'll give me plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now all I have to do is just subtract b over 2a from both sides, and I've got the quadratic formula. So x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And now I can combine the fractions because I got a common denominator, and I get negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, and that is the quadratic formula. Okay, and so that's what we're going to use in some cases where we can't factor the quadratic, and so we can just use this formula to go directly to finding what the solution is for x. Okay.